Hey guys and girls, my name's Alan and welcome to today's trailer analysis video. So as you might have heard by now, Uncharted 4 multiplayer is finally getting a co-op mode. So Naughty Dog yesterday, or was it the day before? I'm not too sure when this video is going to go up. Basically they announced Uncharted 4 Survival, which is sort of like an updated version of Co-op Arena from Uncharted 2 and Uncharted 3. So yeah, the trailer they released alongside the announcement is relatively short. It's only about a minute or so long, probably less than that. But there's actually quite a lot of information in that trailer, so that's what today's video is going to be all about. Talking about the things that I spotted, and as per usual, if you spot anything that I didn't see, then feel free to drop it in the comment section below, just so that we all know. Alright then, so let's get started. I mean, obviously it's only on PlayStation, and okay, so the first announcement straight away is coming this December, so next month. So in previous videos I did actually I think I called this. I did say it was going to be towards the end of the year. I know on the roadmap they said late autumn, which technically should have been a couple of months ago, but given the time frame of all the other DLCs that were released, I did sort of say that it was probably going to be end of the year, and I think I actually mentioned around Christmas time. So yeah, I might have called it correctly, but I mean, obviously I'd rather it would come out earlier, but at least now we've got sort of like a time frame to work with. So mid-December is what they're quoting. Okay, so immediately, it's a new map. Well, I say new. It's new if you've never played Uncharted 2 and Uncharted 3 before. But basically, if you don't recognise it, it is Trainwreck from Uncharted 2. And as you can see, they've kept the wintry theme from Uncharted 2. So in Uncharted 3, they did bring it back, but they changed it in sort of like a desert map. They sort of did like the summertime version of it. So this is, I guess, a remastered of the original Uncharted 2 map, rather than importing it again from Uncharted 3. I suppose. Okay, so it's just a couple of different shots. Alright, so as you can see, mercenaries, I mean, it's pretty standard stuff, right? They're kitted out with weapons. I assume just for the purpose of this trailer, they're all standing there because in the real game, they're not just going to be in the middle of the map, just stationary sort of thing. But AK-47, I believe that's the power there, and then that's the Fossa. I think. I don't know what the guy on the far left is holding. Alright, so immediately, one of the things that they were emphasizing is obviously it's a return to 3 players. So obviously, it's nothing new there. In Uncharted 2 and Uncharted 3, you could play with 3 players, and it's the same in this situation as well. So there you have it. Okay, so it's called Uncharted Survival. As you can see, but I believe it is just an alteration of Co-op Arena from Uncharted 2 and Uncharted 3. And if I just take it back a second, one of the things they did mention, I've heard, is that they're trying to import a lot of the melee attacks from the single player campaign. So in the single player campaign, you can sort of like do a lot of things like smash people's heads against walls and stuff like that, and they're trying to bring that over to multiplayer. I mean, it's not a massive change to the gameplay, but I guess it's nice to beat up enemies in a bit more of a stylish way. One other thing to mention, now as soon as I saw this, I thought it was just maybe a fancy background, but then if you look closely at the palm tree, just in the top there's that like rope thing, which indicates you can rope swing from it. So immediately my thoughts were, this is going to be a new multiplayer map, and judging by the scenery, if you play the campaign, you probably recognize whereabouts it's set, but in a second we'll see another frame that will show us a bit more information about it if you've not played the campaign yet. And if you haven't played the campaign yet, why haven't you played the campaign yet? Alright, so this is Auction House, as you can see, and I believe they're in a siege area at the moment, so we know that siege does return and play cooperatively. I mean, obviously, right, it's co-op mode. They don't call it co-op mode anymore, and there's a reason why they haven't called it co-op mode anymore, and again, that'll come up in a second, but you can obviously play with your friends. So this is quite an interesting thing. You can now actually play it solo, which is why they don't call it co-op anymore, because you can indeed play it solo, hence the name Survival. Alright, so the first thing that I thought of as soon as I saw this is that co-op is playing with friends and playing with other people. That's where the fun's at least for me anyway. But I am intrigued to see what it's like to play solo. Now I've heard that if you play solo, you bring along an AI companion. So you're not technically solo, you've got like an AI friend to help you out, but I'd much rather play with friends if you're going to do that anyway. So I'm just curious to know how difficult it is to play solo, and again, one of the first things that I thought about was what's it going to be like on Crushing Solo. I'm definitely going to have a crack at it. I mean, I played Mass Effect 3, and that's multiplayer, that is. That was obviously a co-op based multiplayer, and yeah, it was a lot more fun to play with friends, but it was actually quite interesting to try it solo because it's a hell of a lot harder, and well, it's a challenge, and I do like a challenge, so I don't know, maybe I will do a co-op Crushing solo, but let's worry about playing with friends first, and then I'll worry about those challenges after. And also, if you pay attention to the background of the map, as you can see, this is set on a new location. So this is, I believe, another new map in addition to multiplayer. And I will talk about a bit more about it in another scene later on. Alright, so complete challenges, nothing new there. It's part of arena mode. So it used to be in Uncharted 2 that it was just survival, gold rush or siege separated into each different game mode, but then in Uncharted 3 they sort of merged them all together and called it arena, and they gave you just like a random challenge every round. So this is again siege, but notice the map, it is set in a different location, and I believe this is tied into the location that I talked about earlier with the rope swing, and I don't know if there's another scene later on, I don't think there is, but this map, I believe, is near the port area, and I won't say too much because it is part of the campaign, so I don't want to spoil it, but I believe this is the port area of the campaign. Nothing else that I can see. I mean, enemies do drop weapons, as you can see there, so you can still pick up weapons. There is a bit more that I want to talk about weapons later on, and I'll talk about it when it comes to the section. Okay, so this is a new challenge. As you can see, there are bounties dotted everywhere. And so the objective of this particular challenge round is to obviously collect the items, and I'm not sure if you have to collect all of them or just a certain amount, but in this next scene, here we go. So that's obviously Cutter just picking up the treasures or bounties, and in the left corner, top left corner, it says 3 of 50 treasures collected. Now if you notice on the map as well, all the treasures seem to be located on this side of the map, so on the far left. So instead of having to run around the entire map, I think they've localized it, and I guess that would be where the intense fighting would take place. So you need to sort of clear the area out and then claim the treasures before the next wave of enemies come in, assuming enemies consistently respawn. In Uncharted 3 they did change it up compared to Uncharted 2 in that enemies constantly spawned, whereas in Uncharted 2 they just died off and then you could just complete the round, you know, as is on your own. So it'd be interesting to see how much of a challenge that is if enemies keep spawning in while you need to sort of like pick up these treasures, but I guess if you do it quickly enough, and between 3 of you, you should sweep that half of the map quite quickly. It looks like literally just maybe even a third, just a third of the map, the far left of the map. So we'll wait and see. And if you just look above the radar, there's 3 stars. Now these 3 stars indicate a rating. So in previous Uncharted games, you just complete the map and then I think you just got you got a bonus payout regarding difficulty. But in this one, you also get an extra bonus. I believe it's a bonus regarding time. So if you complete it quickly and efficiently, you get more stars, and more stars means more rewards. But also, it just tells other people how well you've attempted that map and done it. So I guess this is sort of like a reason to return to co-op. I mean, I'll be playing a hell of a lot anyway, so it makes a difference to me, but it'd be nice to get all 3 stars, you know, with your friends sort of thing, just to say you've done it. And something else to mention is that they're bringing back the gold star on the emblem. Now they didn't say gold star specifically, but they did say the star. So I'm just wondering if there's going to be like different levels of star, like I requested, or you know, like I mentioned during my wish list all those many months ago. So I'm hoping there are different levels of star, and I will definitely work towards a high level with my friends, obviously. So I'm looking forward to doing that for sure. And another thing, while we're on this screen, in the bottom right of the video, as you can see there, there's a little number 3. Now, co-op this time around has its own dedicated progression system. So a lot of games these days seem to split things up. So like in Zombies, in Call of Duty for example, has its own leveling system compared to multiplayer, which again has its own leveling system. And in previous Uncharted games, it was all just one basically. So you'd level up in either or, and it would take you up in the same category. But in this time round, multiplayer has its own leveling system, and co-op has its own leveling system, which I guess is good because then you can sort of concentrate on one or the other. And I'm already quite high level in multiplayer. I think I'm about to hit 70. That's how much time I spent on the game actually. And so it'd be nice to like just start fresh, just specifically for co-op, rather than jumping at level 70 and having a crap load of stuff already unlocked, which is probably why they've done that, to be honest. And also for people who don't particularly want to merge, you know, like stats sort of thing. I mean, it's not a massive issue, but for some people they're picky like that. And in the left hand corner of the screen, you can see that cut is using the AK. Now the AK's got a number 3 next to it, and that's not linked to your current like rank level, but it is a level for the weapon. Okay, so the way that this works is, I don't know if you've played like Modern Warfare 3. I guess it's not just Modern Warfare 3, but that's the first thing that I thought of when it came up. Basically, in MW3's like co-op based mode, I think it was called, what the hell was it called? Spec Ops or something? Survival? I can't remember. Anyway, weapons have like a damage level. So when you first get it, it's level 1. Obviously, as you get more kills with it, it'll level up. So it'll be level 2, then level 3, then level 4, etc. And you can also upgrade it by hitting like a weapon chest, and that will be relevant later on, just bear that in mind. So basically you can level up the weapon as the game progresses, and then it'll do more damage. So at level 1 it'll do certain level of damage, and then level 10, let's say, it'll do like max level damage or whatever. I don't know what the levels are exactly, but just know that the weapons do level up as you're going through the game. So you start off quite weak, but then you get stronger obviously as the game progresses, assuming you do well in the match, obviously. Actually, quite a lot covered in this one scene